Alex Jones, Ethics and Communication. Conspiracy capitalizes on uncertainty and simplistic answers to complex questions. It's an act and a manipulation. And that's the problem. People are listening. Alex Jones, he sits in a studio behind a desk with a menagerie of paperwork in front of him. But does that make him credible? No. Tonight we discuss his role in the anti-vaccination social movement, his role in misinformation as well. So join me as we examine the ethics, abuse of power, and the responsibility media figures hold in shaping public discourse. Now, to those of you who may align themselves with him, I ask you to keep an open mind. Your initial reaction might be, hey, that's my guy, and provide an example where he got one right. Well, my friends, even a broken clock is right once a day. And I ask you to consider, does that one time outweigh the rest? Is that one time of good information worth the rest of the bad information? So let's get into it. He became very popular as he began as a radio host in Austin, Texas in the 90s. He began to gain attention when Y2K occurred. His anti-establishment stance hooked those with an inclination towards conspiracy theories. His base began to build. In 1999, he founded InfoWars, who sold conspiracy theories packaged as news and transitioned from radio to an online presence at that point. His base built quickly and gained a massive online presence. His major controversies: the government organized 9/11, that the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting was a hoax, Pizzagate, QAnon, January 6th Capitol riots, and health misinformation. Due to his behavior, he has been banned from all major platforms, for example, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Furthermore, he has been found guilty of defamation court rulings exceeding $1 billion. Now, and this is where it matters to me a lot, there is a course that is mandatory in any media studies in college. It's called Ethics and Communication, among other titles. I know, I took it. In said course, you discuss responsibilities, those who hold a position where others listen to you. Consider for a moment just how much social interactions with others would change if there was no news. If the internet shut down and the printing press broke down, your discussions would probably only be about what's going on within a few miles around you rather than tens of thousands. You'd most likely have more friends. As such, the media has a direct impact on those social interactions and therefore a responsibility. You see, we all play a role in society, and we usually dress, act, work, and live in an environment that reflects that role. Alex Jones masked his role as a credible journalist sitting behind a desk, a prop of paperwork upon it, with screens behind him, a teleprompter and camera in front of him, a nice shirt, and voice that projects. But it's an act and a manipulation. That paperwork is nothing more than a visual representation of a source of information to get the audience to believe that what he's saying is credible and the truth, kind of like a clipboard. It grants unsaid credibility, as in society, often those who are in a position of authority have one. You see, he exploits the cognitive associations we associate with the role of a journalist by mimicking their role in society. Some might say, oh, people don't listen to him. They don't believe it, but they do. Alex Jones testified in 2014 that InfoWars made $20 million annually. According to the Rolling Stones, Alex Jones' InfoWars store sold $165 million over 3 years, beginning in September 2015. His primary products being vitamin supplements and survival gear. You don't make that without people listening to purchase what he's selling. And that's the problem. People are listening. Anti-vaccination movement, one of the most damaging spread of disinformation, where he abused his position. I'd like to pull up a study, which we have right here. This study is a retracted study. The claim that this individual made, the doctor that wrote this, the primary author, was that there was a link between autism and vaccines. One of the big issues with this is the sample size. It's very small. 3 of the 9 children reported with regressive autism did not have autism diagnosed at all. Only 1 child clearly had regressive autism. Despite the paper claiming that all 12 children were previously normal, 5 had documented pre-existing developmental concerns. Some children were reported to have experienced first behavioral symptoms within days of the MMR vaccine. That's measles, mumps, and rubella. But the records documented these at starting some months after vaccination. In 9 of these cases, unremarkable colonic histopathology results, noting no or minimal fluctuations in inflammatory cell populations, were changed after a medical school research review to non-specific colitis. The parents of 8 children were reported as blaming MMR, but 11 families made this allegation at the hospital. The exclusions of 3 allegations, all giving times to onset of problems in months, helped to create the appearance of a 14-day temporal link. Patients were recruited through an anti-MMR campaigner, and the study was commissioned and funded for planned litigation. So, thought this guy would probably be associated with Alex Jones, and guess what? I was right. And let's just observe what he's selling, right? Or how he has framed his show in order to attract a certain audience. I mean, there is a strategy to this stuff. I don't think people consider that, but you do attract a certain type given your message. So first we got something appearing to be the White House. We got Nazi symbols on it. This is creating that symbol of an oppressive power in the US, this anti-government. And look at the military involved with it. They're coming. They're gonna get you.
You want answers? Well, so does he.
So does he. He's gonna get them. Yeah, you go, Alex Jones. Get it. Get it, Alex Jones. Get it. You're such a badass. Fight the power.
Dr. Wakefield is an academic gastroenterologist.
Andrew Wakefield, he was the primary author.
Pronouncing that right. He received his medical degree from St. Mary's Hospital Medical School, part of the University of London in 81.
So he starts off with reading all these credentials in order to grant credibility.
Studies small intestinal transplantation in Toronto, Canada.
This is an individual who focuses in that area, now drawing conclusions into autism.
Dr. Wakefield lost his job in the Department of Medicine in London's Royal Free Hospital, his country, his career, and his medical license. Well, tell us about your research, what you discovered, and what they're trying to do to you right now.
Well, first of all,
what they are trying to do. It can't be just a person or a small institution. It has to be something ominous, something with no name, this invisible power.
put in front of the media again in a desperate attempt to stop valid scientific research into safety concerns about vaccines.
There is consistent links to other studies. So how can there be this all-powerful entity stopping further research when there is further research?
25% of people, parents, believe that vaccines cause autism. Now, that's despite...
Okay, big thing right here. There's something called the social contagion effect. Again, this was popularized in the media, so everyone is going to be thinking that their child's autism has to be linked to something. So you are hearing that vaccines are causing autism, and your child ends up unfortunately getting or developing autism. You are going to make that instant association that vaccines has caused autism. Now, mind you, again, the entire population, just about, it's reducing now, is vaccinated. So any individual who gets autism will most likely have the vaccine. You see the problem? It's a big problem.
And try to look at why those two things are correlated. Is that correct?
Oh, you've got it in a nutshell. I mean, what...
And again, correlation does not equal causation. One of the most important things that wasn't done in his study in order to make said claim is he did not pull from a random sample. A random sample within a population is needed.
I said, wow, I know nothing about autism because at medical school, it was...
I'm glad he said that.
I remember going to movies when I was a child. There was no one autistic there. Now they might have several rows filled.
Oh, yeah, because we've all gone to the movie theater and seen this. It just happens all the time. Thank you, Alex. You make a great point. I have a better point. They're talking about these increased rates, right? Again, this study was put out in 1998. This is later. What changes? Things. Everything in life, especially in academia or just our language in general. We change the definitions of things. There's something called the DSM. The DSM is used to classify certain disorders. For example, autism. and I looked a little bit into this because I thought, what could cause all these increases? Well, and this is important, Asperger's, it was first added to the DSM in 1995. It was removed in 2013, where it became included in autism spectrum disorder, which is new. We include more people within the population into that category.
They have whole wings of public schools. Now I go to the park and there's autistic children just everywhere. I mean, it's like an epidemic.
It's just theatrics.
Around the world have replicated our findings. And one of the things, I was on a show the other day.
Around the world. No one can study this topic, but people are doing it around the world. Makes perfect sense.
And there is no proper regulation of safety standards for vaccines. Beyond that,
okay, so one, we have the FDA. Two, these claims that parents are making. There are individuals that have been hurt from vaccines, and we have on each vaccine a tax of 75 cents, and that tax goes to the vaccine court in the US. That 75 cents, it is allocated to the reimbursement of those harmed if the case is found true. So we have a way to help those who have been harmed. In relations to this specific claim of autism and vaccines, there has been no specific proof or evidence that the vaccine causes autism, but there have been cases, one, where it is caused by a secondary effect. In other words, it causing a condition that then induces symptoms of autism. It is extremely rare, but it has occurred. And despite these claims that there is no avenue and this great power fighting against people, there are available avenues for people to seek restitution and get help. So the way that they are framing this, that it is this big, bad, powerful thing, is simply, it's not true at all. The vaccine court, it was created to protect the vaccine makers. Now, some may say, like they will, that makes them beholden to no one, right? That they can just do whatever the hell they want. I mean, if they just want to kill people and cause autism, screw it. Let's do it. But what that does is it does protect them for good reason. If everybody thinks that something is causing this effect, all of a sudden, the amount of lawsuits that are going to be going towards them. Another thing that it does, which is beneficial, is it creates a market for it. And many things are about money, but businesses have to make money. If there is no gain in it, right? If there is no profit as a business, there's no reason to do it. And that is another important thing, because a business, especially drug manufacturers, they want repeat customers. They don't want to cause undue harm. They want you to come back. They want the people to take it. If it is causing harm, then they're not going to make any money. So this protection is a very good idea.
I don't know whether vaccines cause autism or not, but I am going to try and find.
Glad he said that.
I'm going to do my very best to find out, because the issue is too important not to.
Absolutely. And
do you see how much what he says contradicts what he knows? It's such an interesting contrast. So interesting. I'm going to make all of these, suggestions that they might have something to do with vaccines, but I don't really know what the hell's going on. To a conclusion, Alex Jones's career, it reflects the rise of conspiracy culture and the challenges of misinformation. The cautionary message I seek to express is that we should be critical of those that we listen to, because if we don't, it leaves us open to be taken advantage of from others. No one will be perfect. There will be mistakes made. However, there can be harm done from actions such as his. According to the CDC, and this is the side that they leave out, according to the CDC, in 2024, there were a total of 284 cases, 42% under the age of 5 years old, of the measles. 89% of the 284 cases were unvaccinated or unknown. Also, according to the CDC, measles cases have surged worldwide, infecting 10.3 million people, with an estimated 107,500 people, mostly children younger than 5 years of age, died. Conspiracy capitalizes on uncertainty and simplistic answers to complex questions. Have there been incidents of harm? Yes, but all treatments have risks. Consider before the vaccine in 1963, it was estimated that 3 to 4 million people were infected each year. Imagine those numbers with the population we have today. The amount of harm caused by an unvaccinated population would be extreme. This is the consideration that is often left out. Consider hitting that like, share, and subscribe button along with that bell so you receive a notification. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I appreciate your time and consideration.